Kristy Park Kulski is a Hawaiian-born Korean-American author, historian, and career vampire of patriarchal tears. Channeling a lifelong obsession with history and the morose, she's the author of the Gothic horrors Fairest Flesh and House of Pongsu. And that's where I was first introduced to Kristy, was House of Pongsu, and what an amazing book that is. She's also the editor of the Asian Diaspora Folk Horror Anthology Silk and Sinew, which we did have a shout out for that on our Friday night session. Janine Flynn was an author in Silk and Sinew, and she talked about it a little bit and gave it a little thumbs up. But it's listed on NYPL's Best New Horror for 2025. Kristy bartered 9 years of her life to the U.S. Navy and Air Force and later taught college history. Trapped by a force field, she currently resides in the woods of northeastern Ohio, where she probably brews potions and talks to ghosts. So I will drop her social media into the chat. Kristy, go ahead and begin reading whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Thanks for having me for this and arranging all of this. I wanted to give a quick content warning for child death, okay? The story is Magpie Teeth. The most painful lies are the ones we tell ourselves. The most shameful are the ones we know aren't true, but stubbornly believe because they are easier, comforting. Lies that justify are ones that allow us to escape blame. In my village, our lie is shared. Single vines of family tragedy making up a big tangled knot. Generations of them, linked by grief or even guilt. We don't acknowledge or talk about it because if we did, the illusion would fade. The fear and sorrow and shame would become unbearable. You must understand it's complicated, even frustrating. We are all innocents, yet operate like villains at the same time. Look out there in the field. There's a girl. Long midnight hair whipping in the wind. She moves like a dancer through rows of cabbages. I call her Minsuk, my sister's name. But she's not, though she responds to it. Sleeps on younger sister's mat. Comes home to eat and talks as if she is Minsuk, but she isn't. I'm not entirely sure she's even human. The truth is, Minsuk is dead and has been for 10 years. The people of my village, we consider ourselves particularly beloved by the mountain we live under. We believe we are blessed, special, because once a child gives their first baby tooth to the magpies to take to Grandfather Mountain, they are safe from death until they reach adulthood. Other villages give the magpies their baby teeth too, but only ours reach the mountain. Only ours protects our children. When the magpies made themselves a bridge to unite the star-crossed lovers once a year, they formed much more than just a way for the lovers to be together. They created a passage between worlds, a way for the dead and the living, if they loved each other enough, to unite once again, Grandmother had once said. Is that how they do it? I asked. Grandmother adjusted the sack of rice on her back. Do what? I gulped, eager for knowledge. Keep children from dying? A thoughtful line formed between her brows. I suppose it is. I was young, and it was before Minsuk became dead, during the time we still ran, played, and laughed together. Younger sister, let's pretend to be magpies, I called to her. And how she giggled. Smiling wide, sharing infectious joy. Even though Minsuk was younger, she had always seemed to know herself, to be confident and bold in all the ways I wished I could be. If I was a magpie, I would soar up and unto Grandfather Mountain's nose. Minsuk spread her arms wide and ran a circle. I would say, look at all the people below in the fields. Me too, I said, pretending the same. Look, there's a child tossing a tooth onto their roof. Oh, the mountain will be so happy. Minsuk pretended to swoop in and snatch it up. Grandmother's lips pursed as if she doubted the claim, but I thought I knew better. You see, I had watched it happen. The shaman's daughter, Su Yi, just the summer before, had taken terribly ill with sickness spirits. She had wasted away, tittering so very close to death. But they couldn't take her. At least that's what I believed. I thought I knew the rules, thought I understood. But believing didn't help Minsuk. When the sickness spirits came to our village in the autumn, we had tried to hide younger sister away, tried to keep her far from the scurry of their anima, searching for bodies to destroy, concealed so their seed eyes couldn't see her. But it wasn't enough, and the sickness spirits relish a tragedy, especially one that happens at their hands. She has not lost her first tooth, the shaman said, lifting Minsuk's lips and studying younger sister's fever-ridden mouth. It was half a question and half a grumble. She already knew the answer, of course. Every single person in the village knew which children had passed that particular benchmark. Su Yi hovered nearby like a beautiful doll, motionless, waiting on her mother's orders. When she looked at me, it was like the gaze of a fish, empty of greater purpose, existing only to be directed. No, grandmother said, tears thick in her throat. Her baby teeth are stubborn, like long, gnarled, deep-rooted trees refusing to move. The shaman nodded. I will prepare a ritual, but these spirits are strong. The sickness comes from the north on a wind of conquest. They come to destroy. Resoaking the cloth, I squeezed what water I could into younger sister's parched mouth. Like a weak chick, she lifted her head, reaching blindly with her lips for the source of moisture. And sometimes she woke up long enough to mouth words and stare at empty spaces before slipping back into fever-spun dreams. No more running or playing. Weakness had already taken her energy, but long before that, her smiles. Darkness gathered in the corners of our house, watching and waiting for an end we knew lurked, but clung to hope to avoid. I listened to Minsuk's ragged breathing in the darkness, to the fretting footfalls and whispered prayers of grandmother, a melody of sorrow for those of us who knew the end came soon and could do little to stop it. And I drifted to sleep to the lullabies of death. In my dreams, I found the shaman's daughter under the stars, gaze fixed on the mountain, something caught in her throat, a bulge along the neckline like a slender snake having just swallowed a mouse. Darkness washed over me, thick and clotted like well-cured gochujang, dripping over me, into me, until I became one with it, as much as part of the night as it was part of me. I moved upon the wind over the creature we call Su Yi and watched without eyes. It doubled over suddenly and soundlessly, her body working hard to empty her insides, straining in her labor, face reddening, veins bulging at the temples. She undulated, diaphragm rising and falling, until finally from her mouth fell a wet, sticky collection of twigs and leaves. And once she finished, a messy, glittering pile lay before her on the ground. From the moment the edges of the night took flight, magpies swooped in, collecting the regurgitated pieces, grasping the material in their claws and beaks, wings spreading to jump back into the darkness, bringing their findings back into the trees. In the morning, Minsuk's first baby tooth loosened and broke free. A miracle, it seemed. Had Grandfather Mountain been watching over us, ensuring we had this blessing and protection? Had he seen our suffering and worry and extended his mercy? Minsuk even stirred, a glimmer of her eyes showing as she peeked between heavy lids. Older sister. I'm here, Minsuk. I've been here all along. Those were the last words we ever said to each other.